Hello everyone, so I changed my intro again, but let's get back into the racing here. We're gonna be doing the head-to-head. What class should we use? Maybe, I think that we should probably go 70s, and then we'll go with this Ford Escort, and that's just very quickly choosing. So, we're pretty much done this game. It'll be this episode, and then I think I said one more after this, and then we'll do a finale, and that's it, I think. But yeah, we're really, really close to being done with this game, which means that we need to select something else to play. Now, that is a bit of a challenge. I don't really know what I want to do yet, so my thinking is, well, I don't think I've driven this car in this game yet. I might have, though. There's video footage to prove it if I have. But, ooh, yeah, this is pretty loose. So, goodness. So, one of the things that I wanted to do was have another game completed on this channel. So far we are at 3 once this one is done, and that's gonna feel pretty good. But we still need to do something while I'm working on the next video series. And by video series I mean much longer videos, essay style videos as I would call them. And I must say, just before anything else, like last week I talked about lying and just trying to be honest instead of saying I'll do something and then making an excuse after. So I will say though that I have started to work on the series that I talked about before, and I have put a decent amount of time into it already. I intend to finish that first video in the series within the next couple weeks, and then I'll make an intro video to the series, and then I'll put out that video and I'll post it around and stuff and try and get everything going. But that's the plan, and it should remain in effect. And by should I mean I'm hoping that I can actually live up to the expectations that I've set for myself there. So, yeah, my thinking is for this channel, what I'm going to do is have something go until that video is ready. So I'll do just a really short game. I don't know what game yet. I've got to look through my Steam library and see if there's anything that's particularly interesting, but also has a very short story campaign that I can play through on this channel. And that'll be that. When it comes to Thursdays, I'm just going to keep doing random stuff. Last week I did Smite. This week I don't even know, but we'll get to this week in a second. So, today is actually Monday, and I'm recording this episode on Monday because today I have a test, the second last test of my college time. I don't know, the time I've been in college. This is the second last test I have to take before graduating, and it's only worth 10% of my mark, but today is also the day to study because early in the morning tomorrow, which is Tuesday, I have another test, which is the final test of my college diploma, and I hope to do well on both of them, and yeah, pass. That's the hope. So now, I guess I should say, like, the reason that I'm doing this video now is just because I don't have time. I have a big project that's due on Wednesday, and it's the final submission for my entire college career. So this is these are the last 3 things I have to think about before being done, and then after that it's pretty much smooth sailing into the finish. So this next 3 days is incredibly busy, and that submission just happening to be on a Wednesday means that I want to prepare ahead for it and just have everything done in advance so I can work on it on Tuesday and then get it done. But basically I spent 5 hours yesterday on it because we kind of got snowed in here in Canada, believe it or not. And I intend to do the same thing on Tuesday, finish it up, hand it on Wednesday, and then that's it. So things are looking really good right now. I'm so close to graduating. I can taste it, and I think for the first time in a long time I'm actually feeling like genuinely happy about my schooling and about the time that I've spent there. It's finally seems like it's worth it, even though I don't have the diploma in hand yet. I feel really good about the effort that I put in, and I'm feeling more and more confident about moving on to the next step in life. But let's talk about these tests a little bit. So, some interesting things have caused my courses to not have exams this year. Basically, this semester for me was a bit of a finish every course that I didn't do beforehand semester. And so I've only had 2 classes the entire semester in my final semester of college, because I took reduced course loads in a couple of years, and I pushed the classes back to make it so that I have this extra time now, which in hindsight was not a good idea, but I can't do anything to fix it now other than finish everything off. But there's a lot in hindsight in college that I will probably share eventually, but I could have done a lot of things better, and some things I'm definitely ashamed of, but I'm here now and I'm almost done, and it feels pretty good. So basically, one of my classes is a full practical class, and that's why it has this final assignment, which is due on Wednesday, or the day that you're watching this. Actually, the time and day that you're watching this, I will have walked into my teacher's office with my assignment, and I'll be handing it in when this video comes out, which is going to be 11 because my delaying time idea was a bad idea. It's going to be 11 again. 11 just seems to work well for me, so I'm going to keep it there. And wait, what was I saying? Oh no. Yeah, so this final assignment is significant. Like it's a full year assignment. So I was working on it in the previous semester, and I'm working on it now, and I've been putting some significant time into it. So to have the final submission, finally be printing it off, handing it in, it's gonna feel good. Plus it's something huge to add to my portfolio, so it's gonna be pretty nice. But the test that I have today is an interesting one, as well as the one tomorrow. Basically they're for the same class, but that class is split into 2 classes, a lab section and a lecture section, and each of them have their own tests. So that's how it works. Like, I have one test, which is later on today at 3:20, and then at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I have the second test. So right after this video is finished, I'm going to be studying for both tests with a priority on the second one, because it's worth 3 times as much as the first one. But yeah, no exam in that class because of the Ontario college strike last semester. It ended up pushing everything backwards 1 week, so they took off the exams and instead have basically a fake exam, which is a large final test with exam style weighting, that being 30%. But yeah, things are looking up. Like, I'm doing well in these classes, so I'm not concerned really with my marks on the test. Like, obviously I'd like to do well so I can continue to do well, but at the same time, if I do poorly, then I'm still going to be passing and still going to be moving on to better things. And also they're not going to take away my diploma, if you know what I mean. So things are really looking up for me recently. Now, I'm not 100% sure what to talk about now. I don't want to continue going on and on about the same thing when it comes to these tests, because that's really all I have to say. Like, I don't want to give away my subject matter, because, to be honest, I don't know enough about it yet. I've been sitting in class all year, and I still feel pretty unprepared for this final test, and also the final lab test, so I definitely need to take the time today to make it work, and yeah, that's what my plan is now. Basically, I've just got to study. So one of the things I know what I'll talk about now. So one of the things that I really struggle with is focus, and focusing on things that I need to get done, especially even if it's the day of an assignment. I used to be able to not do it, like not be able to focus on it. I just became worried about the fact that it was due on that day, and that worry wasn't enough to make me do it. It was just worry that had me stand still and kind of do nothing. But lately, and especially with that big assignment, I've been working on that and finding ways to kind of trick myself into taking the energy that I feel when I'm anxious and putting it towards actually doing the assignment. And I've been making some like significant progress in that. Even like just yesterday, for example, to be able to sit down and work on something for that long and have it keep my attention, obviously not 100%, I was distracted quite a few times, but to get like, I would say probably 4 solid working hours out of 5, that was really good, and it feels good to get that much done on an assignment, especially when it's due in only a few days. And it's just good to have that ability to focus. I know that a lot of people struggle with this. Some people even like take Adderall to make it easier for them to focus, but I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to rely on drugs for something that I should be able to teach myself. But I guess I don't really like, when it comes to techniques for this, I have a few I guess I could share. One thing that I know is what I get distracted by, and sometimes that's just about anything. But another thing I know is when to stop, which is important. So we'll start with the first thing. It's easy for me to get distracted by my phone and like Instagram, Twitter, looking on YouTube videos, even Spotify can be distracting for me. So what I do when I really need to work on something and it's not computer based is I put my phone on the other side of the room and I just point a clock at myself so I know what time it is. And that way I can, like, I don't have an excuse to go down and pick up my phone, and that actually helps me a lot. If it is on the computer, then that becomes a lot more of a challenge. Like my assignment is all CAD based, so it's on the computer, which means that it's really easy to become distracted in that way. And even with my phone on the other side of the room, it's still easy to become distracted. But for that, I kind of rely on motivation to get it done more than anything, which is, well, a challenge, I would say. Let's do the speed run. Yeah, that's my first technique. So second technique would be knowing when to quit. And so, for example, yesterday, I was working on the assignment and I was trying really hard to get it done. I set a goal for myself. I want to get this assignment completely done. And I didn't do it. I wasn't able to do it. But there's a key point in that, and that's that by the end of the 5 hours that I had been working, I was not making very much progress. I was slowing down, I was getting distracted easier. I just knew that it was a time to stop. Now, oftentimes, if you're somebody who does assignments last minute, there is no time to stop, like you have to keep going. And for that, I would suggest taking a break. If you take a break, then you will hopefully be able to get back into it with a similar strength to when you started. And that's how I felt yesterday as well. Like I finished let's go back in time. Try to collect ourselves here. We went off of that ramp a little bit wonky, let's be honest. So, oh, that was much better. Gold. That's pretty good. Yeah, so knowing when to stop and knowing when to take a break is important, because sometimes you'll just get to a point where you're not going to progress forward unless you stop, walk outside, or do something physical, think about it, and then come back and continue. Because, yeah, in those situations, it's just not going to work unless you really pause for a second and stop. So, that's all I've got for you today. I have no idea what's coming tomorrow, but it'll be probably later in the day because I want Wednesday as a day to just like get some of the other things off my list before not having to go back to school ever again. Or at least for now. So it'll come out on Thursday, probably later in the day. I'm going to try to be up on time to get it out at a decent time, but I don't even know what I'm doing yet, so yeah, we'll see. Anyway. Yeah, take breaks.